Hello and welcome to the GDPR add-on for Opencart. I am now in the admin area, which is got by navigating towards this little symbol here, and we have three different menu items here. First of all, I'll bring you to GDPR Settings. Here we can turn the GDPR add-on on or off. Here we can set the number of requests per day, and there is a stipulation within GDPR that there is a fair, you can enforce a fair usage policy, and this is where we do this. This is where we're saying whether you're going to activate the right to be forgotten form, whether we're going to store the policy acceptance, so when somebody goes to checkout, are we going to store that explicit acceptance, and we should do so, and whether we are saying that to access the GDPR forms on the front end, the customer must be logged in, yes or no. Then there are other settings that we can do here that will help us fill out the privacy statement and where we specify, and the data breach management, and these will help us specify where the data is stored and how we handle this data. So we have where the locations and the services, the physical locations of where the data is stored, and then these are the statuses of the requests, the automated requests, and then this is the header text that you can put onto your GDPR emails, and this is the footer text you can put onto your GDPR emails if you want to personalize them. What we have here then is the GDPR request history, and in this demo we've obfuscated the email addresses so as to protect people's identity who are testing the add-on in the demo, but what we can show you is that we can see where they're coming in from. We can see what we're recording, what IP address they come in from, what remote address they're coming in from. That's the IP address of our server. The remote IP address, we're obfuscating that as well for the demo, and you can see then where these individuals have had their privacy requests emailed, and they've had them emailed to them, and this one here is where we have sent an email to the customer with the link for them to follow to verify their identity, and they haven't verified it yet, so that request is pending. Okay, and we can see when the request was actually made. So you can see various pending requests and various service requests as you go down here. Okay, also we have a policies accepted area where you can actually, if a customer is starting to dispute the terms and conditions that they agreed to, we actually are now storing when they agree to the terms and conditions on the checkout, we're now actually storing the version of the terms and conditions that they actually signed up to and accepted on the checkout. And this is where the clause where we have to get explicit permission from the customer, and we must keep a copy of what the customer actually agreed to. So if the terms and conditions change later on, this add-on here will store a copy of the terms and conditions for every successful completed sale on the website. This data for the GDPR doesn't create any more personal data, which is important, and it also stores all this data in separate tables on Opencart. So none of the data that we are storing for GDPR compliance is creating more data, nor is it storing the data in any of the existing tables on Opencart. So should you install other add-ons, plugins, modifications that alter existing tables, this plugin add-on will still work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you through to the front end and what the customer actually sees. So we will log in here, and I will log into the front end here, and I've already logged into this front end, so I don't have to put in my username and password. So here we can see the regular customer account here, but there is an extra feature here, and it's called My GDPR Tools. So if we click on My GDPR Tools, it brings us to a new page here, and this new page has all the GDPR tools that we have here. So here we have the right to data rectification. You can edit your email address, telephone number, and addresses, and update your newsletter subscription. And that's the newsletter subscription tick box that is the default Opencart one. This is not the same as somebody subscribing or unsubscribing to any other third-party email newsletter system that you might have plugged into Opencart. This is the right of data portability. So this handles where a customer wants to move their data out of your system into another system. So maybe the customer has decided to get somebody else to provide them with the goods and service they're providing or they're purchasing at your website, and they need to be able to provide their account details to the next provider. And under GDPR, we must be able to provide the customer's data to the customer in a portable format. So what we do is we extract this information out and we provide it to the private individual, the customer, in a CSV format, because this is a portable data format. The right to restriction of processing, we will be adding this, and that will be where we will be giving the user the ability to say to the shop owner, I don't want my data to be used for data mining and for marketing purposes later on. I just simply wanted it to be used for accounting purposes. Once you've processed my order, that's it. I don't need you using my data for something else. And that's where we're going to put in this, and this will come in before May the 25th, 2018. The right of access to personal data, and this is where you can request a report of all the personal data we store using the link below. The personal data we will be that the add-on issues is basically the name, address, telephone number, email address, and orders that the customer has made. It will also give the shipping addresses of where those orders went to, but it will not reveal the name of the people whom the orders were shipped to. So in case you were sending gifts to somebody else, it will not reveal these names, because that is actually personal data belonging to somebody else, and you don't have the right to recover that personal data. And then last but not least is the right to be forgotten, and this is your personal data request. So this is your personal data deletion request, and what we do here is that we simply redact the customer's email address, their telephone number, and their name from Opencart. It means that as a store owner you can still get the totals of the orders and do your accounting. You still can do your accounting, but you cannot have a view as to who the customer or what the customer's personal details are from the details that are left behind after a personal data request. It does prevent the customer from logging in, and if they do go to create a new account, that new account will be created afresh as a new account ID in Opencart. So the customer, if they delete their account and then come in and create a new account, they will not be able to see their previous orders. Those previous orders will not be available to them because they are no longer linked to that email account, email address, because the email address has been redacted. So that's about it. I do hope that this is helpful to you. If you have any questions, please email us at plugins@willowsconsulting.ie. We'd be more than happy to answer your GDPR questions pertaining to e-commerce. If you need any updates done to your Opencart sites, be it modifications, upgrades, add-ons, bespoke add-ons or design work, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to help you. And with that, I'll say thank you and goodbye from Willows Consulting. Thank you very much.